as I take in the wisdom from Jesus to not judge, I get this idea in my head where I want to say, hold on a second, Jesus. I need to judge. I need to assess whether or not what's happening is good or not. It's okay to say something is right and wrong. And truly, in the stories of Jesus, Jesus does that. Jesus calls his followers to assess, is this right or is this wrong? It's okay. But Jesus gives us this analogy. He says, don't give what's sacred to the dogs. Don't throw your pearls to the pigs. In other words, you might have great advice, or you might know better than others. You might be right. But when you throw your pearls of wisdom to people who aren't looking for your pearls of wisdom, when you throw pearls to pigs who really want food, when you give your wisdom, your advice, your well-intentioned thoughts to people that would really just desperately need connection, what they'll probably do, the pigs will probably trample the pearls into the ground and devour you, or your friends or neighbors or the strangers or acquaintances may throw your advice to the ground and attack you. And haven't we seen that happen over and over? When we give advice, when advice isn't wanted. Jesus teaches us how to live in this time. With your friends, with your family, slow down before you give advice. Slow down before you judge, because you might not even understand what's happening. Believe it or not, you and I might be wrong when we judge. Instead, what Jesus says is to pay attention to the sawdust. The sawdust that we each have. We have far more sawdust than we realize. And Jesus says, pay attention to the sawdust in your own eye, rather than focusing so hard on getting something out, a little speck of it out of someone else's eye. And I'll tell you what, for me, that's hard. What I've learned I have to do, if I'm actually going to live without judging others, is I have to be mindful. I actually have to take time each day to be mindful of who I am and who God's created me to be, and be mindful of where I've fallen short. To be mindful of the ways that I am often wrong. To confess to God, I am not who you called me to be. I ask that you heal me and remake me. Remind me of your love. Help me to do better in the future. And to be patient with others, because they're on a journey too. Together, let's pick a time this week to be mindful, to allow God to speak to us. Take a time. It might be 10 minutes each morning. It might be 10 minutes each evening, or it might be during your lunchtime. You decide a time and hold on to it each day for 1 week. And when you're faithful with that, you'll be amazed at the way that God forms you, and you are able to live without judging.